Getting you all the top voices on this unfolding story, obviously first here on India Today, Sushil, Kiran, and also welcoming onto our coverage Twisha Pal, who's been associated with Shah Rukh Khan for a very, very long time. She's a very well-known art designer and set designer. Twisha, welcome. Thank you for being with us. The story in many ways sort of ends today with bail finally being granted to Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan. Your first reactions? What did you think when bail was finally granted today?
It's like a personal victory. It is just something that I don't think anybody from the fraternity is not rejoicing today. It's just the only first thing that comes to mind is he was being made a scapegoat, because obviously the power, the position, and the influence that comes with the person, it's being misused. And we've heard of a lot of cases in the past where people have been granted bail much sooner, much sooner, and have not had to wait for 3 long weeks for bail. Well, all we can say is better late than never. Yes, definitely. But there was a big price to pay for that.
Twisha, we saw Shah Rukh once when he visited Aryan at the Arthur Road jail. Beyond that, nobody saw Shah Rukh or Gauri. How did they cope for the last 26 days? And it's been 3 weeks. Let me just remind everyone, 3 weeks that Aryan has been in Arthur Road jail. How did Shah Rukh and Gauri cope?
How do you think any parents would cope? And from what I have seen in the past of how involved they've been as parents, and even though Shah Rukh was is such a big star, even at the peak of his career years ago, he was thoroughly involved with his children. He knew what they were doing day in and day out. He was in tune with their education, with their daily activities. I mean, there was no neglect ever because he was so busy, or he was this huge celebrity who didn't have any time on hand, and hence his children didn't get the best of him or his mum or Gauri. But that's not the case. I have seen this personally of how involved Shah Rukh has been with the kids. So for anybody, to see your child go through this, it's traumatic. And
tell us, Twisha, because the reason I want to ask you these questions is because you've seen these. You've actually seen these things from up close. Tell us about the Shah Rukh and Aryan relationship. You're right. Any parent would be able to empathize with what the kind of emotions they must be going through now, especially after all these days. Tell us about Aryan's relationship with his parents.
I can't really comment on the recent past, but from what I have seen when Aryan was little, was that Shah Rukh is an amazing dad. I don't think there's anybody who would, differ on my opinion on saying this, that Shah Rukh Khan is, I think, one of the best dads of the industry. And he really made sure he was always there for his kids. And he shared an amazing relationship with, back then, with Aryan and Sohana, and I'm sure with Edram now as well. But they had an amazing bond. I'm sure they still do, but from what I've seen back then, it was amazing. There was no holding back. They were like friends. So this is something which is a lot of fingers are being raised at the kind of upbringing a child has, and why would the child do this. This has nothing to do with that.
A question that I want to ask both Twisha and Kiran. Twisha, to you first is, when this story began with the custody of Aryan Khan and then his arrest, it took quite a while for people in the film fraternity in Bollywood to come out and speak out. But once it started, many people actually did come out. There were many people who didn't, because obviously it's a sensitive issue. Nobody wants to get into trouble. What was it like from the inside? We are all curious because we are looking at it from the outside, reporting all these things from the outside. What was it like inside the film industry watching all these things happen?
Even for the people who spoke or the people who didn't speak, I can say everybody was heartbroken, shocked, and really, really disappointed. Because this is not, this allegation is not something new that is being faced by the industry. It's happened in the past many, many, many times. But when you see a young boy or child having to go through what he went through, it's just somewhere you start losing faith in the whole system.
Kiran, what was it like? As a filmmaker, as a producer, the media, reported it in a big way. It was a big story. It continues to be a big story. And we're not apologetic about that, because Shah Rukh Khan is a person who has millions of fans across the world. And, as viewers of India today, they want to know. They're interested in knowing what's happened to our beloved Shah Rukh's son. And this is a serious case. It's not a frivolous case. It's a drug bust case. So, we reported it responsibly. But inside the film industry, what were the emotions? What were the sentiments? Was there disappointment, like Twisha says?
Yes, there was a big disappointment. There was one more feeling, apart from saying that, of course, he's being framed. He's paying the price to be a star kid. The other fear that I sensed that people had was, oh, this is an attack on Bollywood for various political vendetta. This is the kind of impression that a lot of people within Bollywood felt and had, and there was a lot of insecurity after this, especially when the bail was not being granted. The other feeling was, oh, if Shah Rukh Khan is not able to get his son out with this, this is getting serious. So there was a lot of insecurity, there was a lot of disappointment. People were feeling really, really bad for Aryan Khan and for Mr. Khan and Gauri Khan, all of them. So there was a mixed feeling for everything. But there was definitely disappointment. It was very evident that he was being framed when the bails were not coming through. And third was, there was some kind of fear that this is some kind of attack on Bollywood, for sure. That feeling was there.
No, I know Sushil, Twisha and Kiran, I know all of you would have also heard the many different theories that were doing the rounds. I mean, I've lost count of the number of theories. Ye kyun hua? Khel kya hai? Why is this happening? Is there something else? What did Shah Rukh do? Is there some political play? Then you got the Wankhede angle. That's also, that entire tamasha has not played out just yet. This one, at least the bail has happened. Wankhede is still being interrogated. There are allegations against him from the Maharashtra government. It's a huge story. It's become really, really big. But I would like to thank the three of you for coming out today, just when this story is breaking, giving us your personal thoughts, because it means a lot to us. It means a lot to our viewers to hear from people, who are in the business, people who know Shah Rukh Khan. It's important to get those voices out. So thank you very much to the three of you for being with me.